Hello, you beautiful souls, and welcome back to another episode of the Soulful Self Development Podcast. I unfortunately broke my computer and it will not turn on for longer than 2 seconds. So I have lost my intro and outro for my podcast, which is kind of a bummer, but that's okay. And I will get it sorted hopefully for next week. But I honestly didn't even really think about it until I sat down to record this, that I wasn't going to have that. So we're just going to dive right in. And today's episode is all about perspective. So, perspective is our attitude that we hold towards something or someone. It's essentially our point of view. And I want to talk about why it's actually so important and how it truly has an effect on our lives. So, we're going to use negative as an example because, for the most part, people actually have negative views on most things, and it can be very easy to just jump to the worst case scenario and think that everything's going to go so terribly. So, I want to talk about this. When we hold a negative view of a situation, or we assume that the outcome of a situation is going to be negative, we're already going into this believing that it's going to crash and burn and it's not going to work. We're kind of setting ourselves up for failure, and there's really a good chance that it's not going to work. Because we actually hold so much power around creating our realities, and we are always manifesting, whether you like it or not. Manifesting is not a tool that you can turn on when you want something to happen. We are always manifesting, and it's really dependent on our beliefs that we hold. And if we hold any limiting or negative beliefs and we keep having these limiting or negative patterns show up in our life, it's because we're manifesting them, because we're believing that we're not worthy, or it's not going to happen for us, or this isn't going to work out, or I'm never going to have love, no one's ever going to love me, things like that. You're just setting yourself up for failure. If you go into a relationship being so scared that you're going to get cheated on, there is a pretty good chance that that's going to manifest, because you're putting a lot of energy and attention into that. And because our subconscious mind doesn't know negatives, if you think don't get cheated on, it just hears get cheated on, and you're actually going to attract people that are likely to cheat on you. So you just have to get yourself to the point of having a mindset of, I am worthy, I am deserving, love will find me always, and that you are having a happy, healthy relationship, things like that. That is so important. I really like to use the glass half full or half empty metaphor for talking about perspective, because it's 100% true. Like, we can go into any situation with this perspective of the glass is half empty, like it's already not good, you're almost done, blah 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 blah, and you're just looking at it in the eyes of it's gonna fail. But if you look at it as the glass is half full, that everything is going to work out, that you still have half of a glass, that you still are so optimistic that the universe has such a plan for you and that everything always works out. And if it seems that it hasn't worked out, it's just because you haven't landed at the final destination yet. And that is important for thinking about all things. I'm going to use buying a house, for example. So if you're buying a house and you're going into it with a glass half empty mindset, you can't find the right house, none of these houses are good, then you find a house that you like and it doesn't work out, somebody else outbids you or gives a better offer, or whatever, or you get denied, whatever it may be. It's going to be a really long, hard process to find the house that you want to buy. And chances are you might even end up buying a house that you don't really love, or you're always going to be like, oh, I wish it was better. I wish this was different, blah, 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 blah. But if you were to go into buying a house with the mindset of visualizing what this house is going to look like, knowing that it's already yours, having all these things written down that you want in your house, that you desire to have be features in your house. Maybe it's blue siding, maybe it's lots of windows, maybe it's white cabinets in the kitchen, maybe it's marble countertops, or whatever it is that you want in this house. Maybe it's a house with 4 bedrooms that's in this certain price range or whatever. And then believing that this house is already there. Practice visualizing and feeling how you're going to feel when you see this house, when you walk into this house, when you buy this house and move into this house and living your life in this house. And just knowing that it's already yours, it's going to be a way easier process. You're going to find the perfect house. You might even find more than one house that has these qualities for you to pick from, and you're going to get it for a good price and all these things. Why? Because you believe in yourself. You believe in the universe. You believe you're worthy of having this house. So this is the difference between a negative and a positive perspective of things, and it affects your entire reality. And it can be just a spiral. If you keep having these negative perspectives of all these situations, it's going to be a spiral because something's not going to work out for you, and then you're going to be like, well, nothing ever works out for me, and then it keeps going around and around and around and around. And this can really lead into having a lot of depression and anxiety and all of these self-doubt beliefs and all these things that we don't want to have, because they're very limiting and they're holding us back from our true potential and everything that actually is possible for us. So please just keep that in mind. I also want to talk about the perspective of other people, because I find this to be also very, very important in just being a kind human being. Because every single person has gone through different experiences in their life. And just by looking at somebody, you don't know anything that's happened in their life. And if you've had a situation where somebody was being really mean to you, and it can be really easy to hold a negative view of that person, or to, if somebody hurt you, maybe your reaction's going to be to hurt them back or hurt somebody else. And I get it. It can be hard. It can be frustrating. And hurt people hurt people. So if you've been hurt by a lot of people, you may want to lash out at others. You may have a hard time making friends. You may have a hard time trusting people because people have been unkind to you. And you know what? I'm so sorry if that's happened to you, because it sucks. Nobody wants to be made fun of. Nobody wants to be judged. Nobody wants to be pointed at and laughed at. And even if these things only happened to us when we were children in school, we can still carry a lot of mentality around that with us throughout our whole adult lives, until we choose to heal and gain a better perspective of everything that was truly happening. I like to think of all these situations that happened to me as a kid as reinforcements to help me believe that I actually am special. If somebody was so threatened by me that they felt they had to take all this time and energy out of their own lives to try and intimidate me or make me feel bad about myself, I must be pretty threatening. I must be pretty powerful, pretty bright, pretty, a pretty special person if people were so threatened by me. But I could have been looking at it as like, oh no, I suck. Nothing's ever going to happen for me. People hate me, blah, 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 blah. And that would have just led to me being so insecure and having all these issues and probably never ever probably never having real friends and things like that. But people need a lot of compassion and understanding because we've all been through it. We've all been through things. The statistics of how many people go through things like abuse and bullying and all kinds of traumatic events in their life that's going to cause them to act in different ways than maybe you wish they would act. It's only because they've been in situations that make them feel so extremely insecure about themselves that they need to take out their issues on you. They are projecting their issues onto you. And it's not your fault. It's not like you did anything. But this is also where it becomes challenging for you because it can be easy to be like, you know what? No, F you. I don't like you. You are mean. Blah, 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 blah. And then you hold this negative view about them. And then you're being judgmental. And then it's going to go again into one of these negative patterns. But to be able to say, wow, I'm so sorry. This person must really be struggling. And I'm going to send them some love and light and healing vibes and pray that they find their way and that things end up working out for them and that they heal and learn and grow so that they can have a better life and they're not so miserable. That is powerful. And that is not only going to make your life better, it's going to help make the world a better place because we can choose to be the bigger person and to see things from their perspective of that maybe they're lashing out because they are just so hurt they don't know what else to do, or maybe that's all they know. Maybe they grew up in a house where that's what their parents taught them to do. Maybe that was normal. Maybe that's all they saw. Maybe that's how their parents acted and reacted to things. So that's what they grew up seeing as normal. And it's sad, but it's actually so common. We live in a very unhealed world right now. And you know what? It's going to get better. The more healing you do, the more healing we encourage everybody to do for themselves, the better it's going to be. But for right now, just keep in mind that perspective is truly key. See it from somebody else's perspective. And know that we're going to be a character in everyone's story, and we're going to be a different character in everyone's story. I know that there's people's stories where I am the bully. I am the one they don't like. I am the one that they hold a lot of anger towards. And it used to make me really upset because I don't want people to think about me that way. But you know what? I then realized that it actually doesn't have anything to do with me. It has everything to do with them. And I just wish them the best. And I hope that they heal and grow. And I hope that they find themselves on this magical journey to live a better life. That they're not so easily upset by people, that they can, I don't know, create more love and magic in their life. That's what I really wish for everyone. So if somebody is being unkind to you, or you're struggling to get along with somebody, or they keep lashing out, or you're having any kind of issue, try to put their shoes on. Try to look at things from their perspective. Why do they feel this way? Why are they acting this way? And chances are you're going to come across some sort of answer that's actually going to make you feel kind of bad for them and that you're going to want to send them love. And that's just going to make you a better person overall. Don't judge because everybody is on their own journey. Everyone has things they're dealing with. Everyone gets overwhelmed sometimes. Sometimes we all act out of character. So again, just try to be loving. And when it comes to your perspective, just try to keep an open mind and try to see things through the lens of love, because really at the end of the day, there's nothing so bad. I mean, you hear about terrible things happening to people and it's so sad. And you know what? It can be hard to find compassion to those people, for those people. Like, how could you do that to somebody? But really, it's sometimes not them. It's sometimes all they know. It's what they've been taught. It's just, that's just so normal in their reality. And it can be really hard to step back and see that that's not okay. You have to gain self-awareness, and some people just really don't have that, and it will get better. And even for yourself, if you struggle with trying to send compassion to those people, if you struggle with being able to see things from other people's perspective, some people it comes naturally. Some people are naturally empaths and they can just feel what that person's feeling, and it becomes very easy to feel forgiveness and send them love when you can actually feel their feelings. But for others, it might take a little practice, but I promise you it gets easier and easier and easier, and then it just becomes second nature. So that is all for today. Just a quick episode on perspective. If you guys have any questions or if you have any topics that you would like me to talk about, don't be shy to shoot me a message. I love each and every one of you. Thank you so much for listening today, and I will see you next week. Bye.